Hey y'all, Bearder Bros Golf Show, back at it again. I am Rod.
And Marcus.
Pull up our logo here. We are missing one of our compatriots today. Mike is had another obligation, so not able to join us today. So it's just back to the OG crew, Marcus and I, holding it down. A lot of golf to cover, a lot of stuff that went down this weekend, and we will just go ahead and jump straight into it. Um, Gino. Well, shit. My slides are jacked up. I'm gonna go according to my notes. Let me jump to Gino's slide here, y'all. Jesus, the struggle bus begins. Um, awesome victory. Going against the one of the EY twins from Japan. She played incredibly. The EY twin actually had a really good day. Clean card.
Mhm.
Shot a 66. Hit all 14 fairways. Played really good, but Gino had a decent lead going into the final day, playing on home soil, had the crowd behind her, and was able to clutch up at the end there, get a birdie, going down the home stretch, not on 18. But I have one clip I'm going to pull up, and then we'll get back to it. Rewind that here. Got the homecoming queen post from
Well, it
Callaway.
doesn't matter that it misses because it's a dream come true for Jeeno. A win on home soil. She's the champion in her native Thailand, the winner of the Honda LPGA Thailand.
So again, nothing like winning on home soil, and you could just tell the emotions were there. It was the first time that she had won in front of her mother. I guess her mom does not travel um, to the United States tournament, so first time winning in front of her mother on home soil for the first time as well as a professional. So a really cool moment. The LPGA has talked about the stars that they need to win more. So they've got a Nelly Corda win under their belt. They've got a Charlie Hull LET win. Now you got Gino winning. The season's off to a really good start for them. What'd you think, my man?
Yeah, I mean, it was a well run event. Like we continued to harp on, the LPGA has really made some strides as far as, um, overall product. And I really felt like that was on the forefront this week. I definitely felt like the lead groups were definitely leading. I felt like, I mean, it wasn't, Gino won and very happy to see her win, but the stars are out and all of them were playing very
Yeah.
well. I mean, you saw Lydia Ko make a charge, Chizzy EY, like we just mentioned up there. She honestly really held the lead for not a lot of the day, but like about half the day. I mean, it was bordering like a
Yeah,
third
going
to a
back and
half of
forth.
the day. They were going back and forth. Um, I think Gino even had a bogey to kind of send her back a few, but bounce back ability with stars like that is always easy. I mean, Hannah Green made a charge. Aria Jitanagarn at her home.
I was gonna say the Thai golfers definitely showed up.
Yeah,
Padgery. And I was gonna say, Hannah Green always plays incredibly well on the Asian
on
swings
the Asian
of the
swing for
tour.
sure, bro. Yeah,
And I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
I mean,
Oh, we've talked about this before, and I don't know if that's just because I know in my travels, a lot of Australians come to holiday in Southeast Asia, so I don't know if it's
mhm.
just comfortable with the climate, something like that.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, so I think, I mean, overall, I thought it was really good. Um, yeah, I mean, I have no complaints. And again, I mean, Siam Country Club really looked like a dream out there. I mean, I think they had a few wet days during the week out there, but I mean, fairways were rolling
Course
true,
look great.
greens were
Yeah.
rolling pure. So I mean, yeah, overall, it was really good, bro.
Other than the first day that there was a tree that was shedding leaves by the 18th green that was super annoying, and it's probably just because it was windy that they kept ending up. I was like, can somebody get a blower out there to
Yeah.
take care of these ladies? They were having to clear a line on the 18th green, and that kind of sucked. But yeah, other than that, I mean, a really well run tournament. They've been out there for 20 years at this point. They've missed it because of course renovation and COVID year. But overall, they talked a little bit about it again. I watched with minimal commentator on during the, just because I like to have my own thoughts or I got other stuff going on and I'm watching. But I'm definitely gonna probably make a longer form video about the Thai history and kind of how they have gotten to this point and just the momentum from having a home tournament to exploding on the golf landscape in terms of females, women, um, showing up on the LPGA. 20 years ago, this was Jeeno seeing this tournament as an 8 year old. Now, dragging her country along and just the pride that you see. I talked about it when we were in Malaysia. I got to go to the LPGA event there with my daughter, and the amount of Thai people that had traveled over and were following on every single hole was kind of crazy for it's within Southeast Asia. Everything's about an hour and a half, a couple of hours. So it wasn't a super long journey, but they came out in full force to support her. So she's definitely holding it down for Thailand. Let's pull this down. Any other thoughts on the LPGA before we keep it moving? But I'm super proud to see her celebrate, and she had to dump water out of her shoes at the end to accept her trophy.
No, I mean that's all I got. I mean, another, you know, another fun event next week for them to right back to it.
Yep.
So excited to see them again. Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah, they're going to be in Singapore and Lydia Ko, as you mentioned earlier. She also enjoys this swing. She is the defending champion in Singapore. So, like you said, it's great for. I know you were up watching it, getting texts from you. It's daytime for me, so I was definitely up watching it. The TV window was great again, and then the fact that the rounds are live is easy to
Yeah.
find this year. So yeah, it's a win. I think they were even taking priority over DP World Tour in the Kenya Open. I do want to mention that real quick. I'm going to jump out of order just to knock our DP World Tour coverage out. Let's see here, let me find that slide. Yeah, we had Casey Jarvis, um, South African, baller. First time winning on the DP World Tour. They had a handful of names that we were, aware of. Callum Hill made the trip. Laporta. Who else was up there that this just we're junkies. So it was quite a few people that we are aware of just from watching DP World Tour over the years. This one isn't always the greatest attended um, of the tournaments throughout the year, but the energy was great from the crowd. Very knowledgeable. Cheering. A lot of balls hit close to pins. The energy was up. Again, we mentioned it pre-show. The young man, the native Kenyan, making the cut. They were featuring him pretty early on in the week with his on the Instagram for DP World Tour. He was, going pretty low on the front nine, so had some momentum, made the cut on the number. What did you think about the DP World Tour this week, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like what was a par 70 course, I believe. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was par maybe 72. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Angel Ayora is really trying to make a name for himself, and
Hmm.
it was sad to see him just kind of like twiddle around even par on the final day. I mean, he went
Yeah.
from first to eighth. He literally just stood still, and everybody came and caught him and passed him. Um, I saw, I saw a few holes the last day, but it was kind of like right on my verge of going to sleep, like that 3:30 to 4 hour. Where I was just like, all right, bro, like I'll catch
And it
y'all in the
was and it was weird. The weather delay, I think they got hit with two at least. So I was watching,
really.
stepped away for a quick second, came back to the app, and it was like they were playing the third round, and I was like, "What's happening?"
Oh,
And they were on a lightning delay. They restarted. I
interesting.
think they got four more holes in, another lightning delay, and then they were able to finish. By that point, I had kind of moved on because we're talking about like hours.
Yeah,
And so yeah, it was a little. The final round was a little janky just because of the weather. Um, but yeah, Casey Jarvis gets his first one. Also, his first victory in front of his dad. So we had a lot of folks getting to play in front of the parents, and I think that always means a little bit more. Yes,
yeah,
winning in itself is just, something else, but being able to do it in front of the parentals is special. So you can just, I mean, I didn't want to get, you know copyrighted for the clip, so I just took a screenshot of it. But it was a really good scene. Coming in, hits, knocks in the eagle putt to win by three. Pretty much had it in hand, but I always love to see somebody doing the walk off eagle birdie putt to win, and leave no doubt. So yeah, all in all, just a good tournament, solid, good presentation of Kenya. The course also looked great. They had a lot of good drone footage of the course overhead that really showcased
nice,
the design. So yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, Henny Duplessis is somebody else who I was thinking about, who I'm like, that name is always up there, but he is not never won on the DP World Tour, which was surprising. I was like, that's bizarre because I was just kind of going through the names that I knew. But
Yeah,
we are back at it. I'm gonna actually skip ahead just because DP World Tour. Um, so the schedule marches on, but there was a story that came out this week with Patrick Reed, adding a couple events. He's going to play the South African Open and the Joburg. He has added those to his schedule, and it seems like a an attempt to go at Rory McIlroy and get this race to Dubai. Sorry, my mouse is lost right now. Just trying to get back to my screen. But yeah, Pat Reed doing his thing and trying to put the pressure on Rory, really just embracing this full time DP World's Tour schedule for the year. What do you think about Pat Reed with the aggressive scheduling and just trying to keep up the hot play?
I mean, I don't know. I felt like he was going to play there anyways. We talked about it last week. I mean, he feels a little bit more at home in South Africa. It's a little bit more even kill there. You they ain't really playing for much. I mean, it's 1.5 million purse for. So I think it doesn't really always portray who's in the field because it's the DP World Tour. But I do feel like I don't know. I feel like sometimes Pat Reed, he's kind of up there with Tyrrell Hatton as far as just playing whenever,
Yeah.
wherever. Maybe he's trying to stay a little bit more mainland Europe, or I guess. But I mean, we ain't got nothing else to do, and you offer one tour, you try to make it
He's,
back to the other. You gonna find some
I
leaks
mean,
to play.
he's got two wins, a playoff, third place. I think he ended up third in that one, after the playoff, or maybe T2 on that one. So really hot start. This just continues that trend. Um, our weekly players, like you said, Terrell Haddon, Ryan Fox is going to tee it up every week. Pat Reed is going to tee it up every week. For a while, another guy that was playing damn near every week was Eric Cole. I think he's
Yeah.
still getting a lot of starts on the PGA Tour, but hadn't been playing as well these last couple of years, and that could be due to his health as well. But yeah, Pat Reed just adding some starts and yeah, really making a run, giving Rory a challenge to the race to Dubai. So we'll pull this one down, or we'll go to Jacob Bridgman. So I have the poll up on the chat. So if you just want to shoot that out or, vote in that. Very curious how people are viewing Jacob Bridgman. I wanted to pull up some kind of get to know Jacob Bridgman because we've seen the name the last couple of weeks, really the start of the season. And I have his results up. So Sony Open, he went T4, American Express, T13, Waste Management Phoenix Open, T18, the Pebble Beach Pro Am, T8, and really had a chance to win the Pebble Beach, really in a contention on Sunday, but wasn't able to hold on. Um, he just did enough at the beginning, and I'll go through it, but um, yeah, I just wanted to get some more history on him. South Carolina through and through, born in South Carolina in Edmond. Living in Greenville, went to school in Greenville, at Clemson. So the man is South Carolina to his T, or to his heart. And then I pulled up some get to know you things from the PGA Tour. He's a great putter, always has been. One of the best ever to play at Clemson in terms of his, record while there. He actually made the Tour Championship last year in the top 70. Played with Rory McIlroy in the BMW last year as well. And I think what we're seeing, and if you look at the highlights, the PGA Tour is posted, watching in person yesterday or, watching live, the ball striking has drastically improved to what he has been previously. So that's to me has made the hugest difference. The man's hitting it close quite a bit and then just converting a lot of, these easy putts. What did you think of him? Do you think he's here for the long term, or do you think this is just like this dude is on a heater, and then he'll fall back like we've seen many guys?
I think the putter will keep him a little bit more relevant as far as like results go, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, shout out to his coach right now, because whatever swing thoughts he's got him doing, I mean, it's the right ones. You never know,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, it's not like he came out of nowhere, because, like you said, I mean, he was top 70 last year because he obviously did enough and finished strong enough to make it and qualify on his own merit to the elevated events for the year.
Right.
But I mean, literally, if you're not a connoisseur of golf, you really have no freaking clue who this dude is. I mean, honestly, myself included, because I'm like, the name sounds familiar, but I couldn't put a name to the face.
Yeah, the face is not. I mean, he's plain Jane, right? I mean, you're not gonna. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's just like his origin story is not some crazy one. He's just kind of been a kind of steady tour pro. He's actually had a pretty decent earnings in
yeah.
his career. Kind of speaks to where he's
26,
finished.
7 mil.
Yeah,
Can't be mad
exactly.
at that.
Do, doing pretty well for 4 years full time on the tour
Yeah.
since 22.
Yeah, I think just watching kind of his mannerisms today and yesterday, I thought it was funny, because it's like, I think he kind of understands he's a little bit more deliberate of a player, because he's got some pep in his step. He's moving quickly to get to the ball so that he can take his time more. Like, I felt like every time they saw him on, like, gave him some camera time walking up the fairway or up to the green, he had some brisk walk. Now, we know Rory, when
Yeah.
he walks and he's excited, he's got bounce, but he's never really like fast pace. This dude Bridgman was like trudging, like he was moving.
And he's
And
fast
like
off the, like, I would say I'll say he's pretty quick off the tee as well. Like there were a couple times where Rory did get the box.
Hmm.
They'd show the Rory drive, and then pretty shortly thereafter, Bridgman's, like he's already off the tee. So I appreciate that. You're very accurate. I mean,
Yeah,
like your assessment of his speed and,
yeah,
just getting to it.
yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I felt like he was up there with Rory as far. Not not everybody's going to be able to just be out there with Rory as far as driving ability, but I mean, he wasn't.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't a little poke. He was pretty much up there with Rory most of the round. Now, not to glaze Rory, I will say I did enjoy him hitting these like low burners. I mean, 75% of the tournament, he hitting these low draws and just playing the rollout and stuff like that, which was
Right.
really kind of just swaggy because it was wet as hell out there the first day. And it was like you're doing these wind beaters, but how much rollout are you going to get when the fairways is this wet and you're doing lift clean in place and stuff like that? But I mean, it ended up paying off
Right.
because Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, the course dried out as it would in a nice. See, a lot of people don't realize that stuff. You play on these nice courses, they have drainage systems underneath these fairways that make them drain even better than like the natural timeline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, and you could just tell like the fairways. Like I
pristine.
again watching that this Vietnamese golf coverage, which they had the Vietnamese commentators on the PGA Tour coverage, but they were doing a lot of close ups of the fairway and fair drives landing in the fairway and the pristine. I
Yeah,
mean, just nuts. Even the greens for that POA looked great.
yeah,
But yeah, you could see it on, so was it Friday or Saturday? A lot of the approaches for players were just plugging.
yeah.
So by the time they got to
No fault.
Sunday, I mean, you still saw a lot of heavy divots, but they were at least coming out of the divots by Sunday. I
Yeah,
mean, there were literally plugs I want to say it was Friday. So yeah, the course definitely recovered and bounced back. I mean, I would love to see Riviera in person. That thing looks like a dream to see a tournament on. And one thing that the coverage I watched is very unique, which made me actually go to the PGA Tour app. Is some of the angles of the greens at Riviera are so unique. Like when you
yeah,
see an approach come into a green, where they're able to put some of those pin placements, there are a lot of 45-degree greens, a lot of them that are just straight across. The angles and kind of the whether you have to cover a bunker, very unique design that you're not going to see. So I look forward to Riviera every single year. It seems like people were taking notes from previous years on 18. 18,
hmm,
you always see people coming up short on that hole. Folks were firing at that flag this week. I don't
yeah,
know what's the difference, but previously it's just like, can we get the ball to the hole on 18? They're usually going in with a 6 or a 7 iron. But this week, people seemed really aggressive. A lot of aggressive swings. And I would say, I meant to mention that earlier when we were talking about LPGA. Between the two tours this week, I saw people swinging a lot. I don't know if you've noticed this, just something I picked up on. People swinging a lot, going at irons really hard. You don't see that little casual swing, but I mean, people going at it. Jeeno, Chizzy EY, Ryan Fox, Bridgeman, Rory taking aggressive swings that seem like, okay, that little, finessing is kind of out the window. I don't know if it's just me, but just something I picked up on.
yeah. I think that's just you. I mean, I felt like they were still pretty much I mean, I felt like they were still in rhythm. I mean, they just have way more clip head speed than we do. So It's gonna look
I know,
fast,
and
but
it could be the
I felt like
coverage.
it was chilling.
It could no. I'm saying the sound and kind of the moves through the ball feel aggressive. And again, maybe it is the coverage that I'm watching, and it's less commentating and more just mics on the ground. I think I'm hearing a lot more of that in the
Hmm.
coverage that I've been getting access to. That could be it, but we'll see. We'll see as it goes on. Um, let's get into his what's in the bag. And then just, blow through this real quick here, man. It's pretty simple, but wanted to cover it for the winner this week. So you got Jacob Bridgeman. Right off the bat, I found it interesting that he is still playing the QI 35 driver. We've talked extensively about this driver last year that Rory, Scotty never really took to this driver. They kept going back to the QI 10, putting that back in play. Just essentially just took a skip year for the QI 35, but he's clearly finding success with it. I do want to talk about some of his driving stats here, but give me your thoughts. And then we're seeing this Project X hazardous smoke green become really popular these days as well. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, the hazardous smoke is just a really good shaft, all in all. I mean, and again, like I said, I have the hazardous smoke black 5th gen, and if you really can maintain that upper level speed, then the stability of the shaft does the work for you. As long as you're making not even middle contact, decent and not heavily toe or heavily heel shafted contact. I mean, the shaft is just really going to take it to another level. But I guess, he has the low spin model. So I don't know. Like, you look at Equipment Junkie, I feel like he's pretty vetted as far as what we watch and what we've seen. And he really harps on the 3 wood of the QI 35 model. So maybe
Mm,
he found something in the driver. Maybe he found something um, that we didn't see. But when you're the number 1 and number 2 golfer in the world, you're not always going to be too excited to switch and move on unless you're really getting crazy gains. And I think Rory
yeah,
spoke to that more so than Scotty. Scotty, I think, is more just a creature of you know of of stability. I mean, he ain't really
yeah.
changing a lot in his game. I mean, he didn't change his irons like Rory did, but
Yeah. Like all the times we went through his what's in the bag, Scotty's earlier on in the year, last year,
mhm,
and there weren't any changes throughout
yeah,
his, really the last couple of years. So we didn't redo it because it was like, what is there to update?
truly. Yeah, and then I think, and Scotty talked about it in those first couple of weeks back. He said he's really close to finding a match for the QI4D. He said he got some really good numbers. He really sees the improvement. It's just, dialing down the face. And like we talk about, they get different shit than us. They, injected
Yeah.
face, different head models, the core versus, the core dot and stuff like that.
Right.
Right.
Right. They're
So,
talking about there's so many models of that QI4D out there. It's kind of nuts.
yeah, that we don't even get to see. But, congrats to them. And hopefully one of these days we start getting our hands on some of that stuff. Some tour racks
Yeah,
soon.
I think speaking to, the driving stats in a winning week, your stats are probably going to be
Be
very
heightened.
elevated compared to
Yeah.
huh, your week to
Yeah.
week. And so I do want to go to his kind of year to date stats, even with the win included. So strokes gained off the tee, he's 75th on tour. Total driving 64th, driving distance 67th, at just over 306.9 yards. And driving accuracy is actually pretty poor. He's 89th, hitting almost 60% of his fairways. So not some otherworldly driver of the ball, um, but clearly has found, the iron game and is driving it well enough to stay out of trouble, right? I don't think he's, losing a lot of strokes gained off the tee. He's kind of, again, middle of the pack, not doing horribly, but could be doing better. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
He could absolutely be doing better.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I mean, perspective is everything. But when you say total driving 67th, driving distance 64th, and the dude hits it 306 off the tee. Every other amateur is like, yo, like, hey, I'm pushing 305.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out there. Bro is not even in the top 50 at 306, 306 now. So that's just insane to me. And then
Yeah.
he's hitting over 50% of his fairways, and he's like almost 100th. He's 89th, and he's hitting 60% of his fairways. Again, things that we would dream of, just hitting more than 7 fairways and around.
Whatever I want to. We'll get to the irons. I want to know what his iron secret, like how he's
his
been
short
able
game
to
has got to be
drastically improve
amazing.
that.
His short game has got to be crazy.
Well,
His
hell,
up and down strokes gained
the
around the
the,
green, besides the putting.
the amount of the amount of greens that he's hitting, he doesn't have to use that short game very much, and we'll get into
Yeah.
that. Let's keep it rolling. We'll get through these woods pretty quickly here, and then we'll get into the irons. So TaylorMade QI4D 16 and a half. Again, another trend. We're seeing quite a few people going to the 16 and a half degree 3-wood. This is not the first time that we've seen this. And we've seen that bounce back and forth. We've seen the days of the 15-degree 3-wood being kind of the standard. We saw a couple of years where people were going to the juiced 3-woods, the 13 and a half, 14 degrees, which, people are putting kind of the mini driver in play these days, which I think he also has, depending on the week and the setup. This particular week, this is what's in the bag. I saw another one where he's playing the TaylorMade R7 mini driver. So I think this is kind of an interchangeable spot for him, just depending on course setup and what he needs for that particular week. Project X Denali Blue ADTX, which we've, again, seeing this one becoming popular. Again, people moving away from the Velocore. That's just not as hot as it was 2 years ago. And then in the 7-wood QI4D 21 degrees graphite design Tour AD XC 8X. So pretty standard what we're seeing in the bag in the men's bags this year. I've seen, watching a lot of LPGA, a lot of the ladies are still sticking with hybrids. A lot of hybrids in play on the LPGA. Seeing more woods, full heads on the PGA Tour. Any thoughts on that before we move to the irons?
I think honestly, they have the speed. I mean, the men just have the physical ability to slice that 3-wood, that bigger head through the rough and through that light, little layer, way more than amateurs, and then just slightly above the LPGA players. I mean, this track's though 10 degree driver, 16 and a half degree high launch 3-wood. So the next step would be a 7-wood. He'll probably still have like a forehand that's like 24 degrees or something like that. But notice that he has 3 different shafts and 3 different woods.
Yeah.
That's a little bit out of the norm for a tour player. Usually they kind of
it is
one outlier, but pretty much incongruence. Now, these probably have different characteristics that he likes though. So, he's figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, who are we to argue with the man that's had these results this year? Not us, right?
Literally.
let's get into these irons. Rocking the Supreme Combo set from TaylorMade. This Tour Preferred 4 iron is old. I think we talked
Yeah.
about a couple of years ago. Daniel Berger is still playing these kind of Tour Preferred irons. Um, Clearly he's found something he's liked, and I think he goes back to when he was at Clemson. He was a tailor-made athlete there as well, so something that he's probably been playing for quite some time. um Clearly something he's using off the tee is probably not something he's using um in the fairway very often. In the mid irons or the 5 iron, the 770. Beautiful compact club. I love the 770s. When I went and got fit a couple of years ago, love the look of it, but the P790s just gave me a little more distance, so it ended up in the bag. It was about a 5 yard difference per club. And then the TaylorMade P7 CBs through the 6 through pitch and wedge, which Rory just recently gave up on here recently. So clearly, Jacob Bridgeman has found success with these, and then the True Temper Project X 6.5. What do you think about this combo set, my man?
I think it's cool. I mean, the Tour Preferred always was a pure look to me. Definitely almost.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely almost drank the Kool-Aid on that for the iron's sake. Um, I mean, I'll skip over the 770. It wasn't always my favorite. I felt like it was just an outlier because why go there when the 790 is right there with, kind of a very similar top line, but a little bit stronger face, a little bit more
Yeah.
forgiving. It just doesn't make sense, to go there. But it's a cool look. It definitely looks great down by the ball, but I mean, the P7 CB to me is probably one of the better looking irons in the game right now. I mean, it's just, it really is pick your poison right now. There's so many. I mean, all four OEMs, major OEMs, have really good product. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're kind of spoiled in the game right now. Now, don't get me wrong. All the prices are going up on everything because the quality is so much better now. And there's a lot of boutique iron gamers and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the P7 CB is a really pure look. I've always been a
Yeah.
CB player. Me and Rob both had Nike
Yeah.
Pro combos, by the way, so we know a thing or two about the CB, if
Yeah.
at all anything.
And I think for Bridgman's game, what I guess the difference and why Rory pointed to taking it out of the bag was that he didn't like that it had a slight fade
Fade
bias.
bias, yeah.
And for Bridgman, yeah, and for Bridgman, that seems to be the shot shape that has worked out well for him. I mean, it
Yeah.
fit Riviera perfectly. A lot of the approaches, pins on the right hand side, or space to move it from left to right, even if it was a pin on the left side or center of the green, worked out incredibly well. Now next week that may not be the same thing, wherever he tees it up next, that may not necessarily fit his game. But this week it was very reliable to hit the fade, taking a lot of short irons in. Again, not even the longest, but still able to hit quite a few short irons in. Kept himself on the short grass really the entire week, and that served him up incredibly well because you saw yesterday Rory um, playing out of the rough quite a bit. Um, it makes a huge difference, and so Bridgman was able to take
Yeah.
advantage of decent accuracy this week with the driver. Get into the wedges. I mean, nothing much to be said here. The TaylorMade MG5, I mean, this just comes down to personal preference and what you like in your setup and the bounce characteristics that you like for your clubs. But the MG5 is, I mean, we've talked, you spoke about the irons and how good irons are these days. Wedges are very much the same. There's
Yep.
really not a bad OEM, like of your major brands, there's not a bad wedge out there. I mean, I would say the one that probably gets the least attention is like a Ping, not a Ping wedge, but a Cobra wedge. But Ping Glide Series, amazing. The MG5, of course, Vokey. We know the legacy there. Cleveland has come back crazy with the RTX
Yeah.
and RTZ line. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with the wedges. And, I think the MG5s are right up there with any of them. What are your thoughts here? And then also playing the Project X 6.5 and the 50 and 54, and then the Dynamic Gold S400 and the 60. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah. I think, I mean, as you look at the numbers, being that dialed to be at 9 degrees of bounce, 11 degrees of bounce, and then playing a 60 degree at 8 degrees of bounce, I, I don't know if I call that necessarily a low bounce. I don't know why they say LB when 8 degrees is pretty
It's
pretty
barely
mediocre.
right. It's like middle.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like at least make it a 6. But yeah, man. I mean, anytime you can get a forge wedge, so the reception's gonna be there, the feel's gonna be there, the softness around the greens as far as grooves go is gonna be there. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a really good looking club. There is no hating to be done on this bad boy.
Yeah. No doubt. And then kind of rounding out the
Of
TaylorMade
course.
Spider, of course. I mean, why would Taylor? I know they have a full lineup, but why would TaylorMade come out with anything else, right? I
Yeah.
would be playing with the Spider design in so many ways, and this is kind of like the older version of the Spider with the gaps. I mean, usually we're seeing the kind of full body Spider at this point, but this is kind of the older version of it. I love the single dot up top, making it really simple. Not a lot of distraction, just lining it up in the center of the face and letting that thing go. And again, he's been a good putter for quite some time. It was the number one thing that the PGA Tour listed on the get to know you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
One thing that I would play with, I guess being on the tour, you definitely have some more options as far as weighting goes. But I feel like the looks like this, I feel like they're always just so much lighter. Like even with like, different your different grips that you can have to make you feel more of the head. Pause. But I
Hmm.
feel like they're always lighter when I pick them up in the shop or when I pick them up
This
at a
particular
golf house.
model,
Mm-hmm. I mean, pretty much all of the
yeah,
the spiders, unless again, like I said, you can change the weight, or
you
I mean,
can.
you see a lot of lead tape on a lot of the bottom of these soles, so I definitely think they could be heavier. That's all I'm saying.
Well, well, I think they're very customizable, right? Because then
Yeah,
this is my previous putter, right? So right now I'm in the Jailbird. This was my putter that I had previous to that, and I had gone the last year or two with it to heavier weights. I think the ones that come with it are like 5 or 10 grams. I went to like I think a 25 gram toe, and then like 20 or 15 on the heel. So you can customize it to your heart's content. And I played with a couple of different configurations until I got to one that felt good for me. But I agree. I mean, it's out of the box. It's very light.
yeah.
But I mean, finding, doing weights for this is so simple. And then you can, adjust them pretty quickly.
Okay,
So you can do a lot of testing with this particular putter.
nice.
I used our image from last week. So this man is in the TaylorMade TP5X. We talked extensively last week on the new paint process for the TP5, TP5X. Um, I, it's good to have the result that they had, right?
Yeah.
To have to have Rory and Jacob Bridgeman in the final group playing the TP5X and five, lineup of balls. Good thing for the company, right? If especially if you're gonna talk about these improvements that you've made to your ball manufacturing process to actually see some results from that. I think it's something to look look at for the rest of the year is how does this ball perform and how many wins does it get? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I think now don't get me wrong. Bridgestone to Titleist Pro V1 is right there for me. But
Yeah.
the ball manufacturers out there are really winning. The same as drivers right now. Bridgestone dropped a new ball. Gotta Rep is really producing. He's already got 2 dubs on the season. Finished last
Yeah.
season really strong. So he probably had the prototype version in the bag. TaylorMade is one. Callaway has made immense strides with their Chrome Tour golf ball. So
Yeah.
you really see a lot of those Callaway staffers, producing and stuff like that. Um, and I feel like Xander Schauffele is really, getting his stuff dialed back in. So new golf ball, game running into shape. It's not going to be long before they're producing and kind of putting on the forefront. Hey, look, we made a new ball. You see what it's doing for our guy as well. So, yeah. Oh, how can we forget Morikawa? That guy's playing the
Yeah.
TP5 as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, all the new balls are,
Yeah.
are, are definitely flourishing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is Jacob Bridgman's What's in the Bag. Like I said, we always hope for these young guys to continue their success, and that this is not just like flash in the pan. He can keep it rolling, can keep performing. I mean, it's hard to hit irons this damn good every single week. But again, go check out the PGA Tour highlights. Go spend 5-10 minutes. You're gonna see how many shots this man was flagging this entire week. I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't rolling in a lot of long putts. He was just flagging a lot of balls. So shout out to him. Shout out to Jacob Bridgman getting his first win. And hopefully he can make a name for himself. And hey, Mike, welcome our fellow bearded bro, not present on screen today, um, but forever in our hearts.
Head ass.
Hopefully we'll get him. Hopefully we'll get you back next week, man. Let's see what's next as we kind of power through and get through the rest of the show here.
Can mention the
I'm just
John
gonna
Rahm
go and
news real quick, the live stuff.
yeah, let's do it. All right.
Move
So
in and out.
earlier on, we heard a couple weeks ago that they had negotiations ongoing with the DP World Tour. We get updated news that the players here on the right hand side had successfully, gotten a waiver essentially through the DP World Tour to play on live and pay their fines and be able to keep their status. The most important part about all of this is any European player needs to have DP World Tour status to be able to
Be
be
on the Ryder
eligible
Cup.
for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So we're a year and a half out. It's not tomorrow. But if John Rahm is, now they're getting official world golf ranking points on live, so he's okay there, which you can pretty much pencil that man in for a top three every single week. He
Yeah.
doesn't win a lot at live, but the man is going to compete. I think he's got 2 back-to-back second places already. These last couple of tournaments that they've played. Um, but again, just a weird decision. And the article that I have linked in the description alludes to he could possibly be waiting on a longer term solution. So apparently, this just gets these guys handled through 2026, and then I guess a further determination can be made down the road. Who knows? But John Rahm, man, I will read through the names as you can see. The guys who have taken it. Terrell Haddon makes all the sense in the world. We know he plays damn near every week. Laurie Cantor, small, little story about him. Eligible through the top 10 exemption. Could have made his way over to the PGA Tour this year, chose to stay and return to live. This is his second stint on live after having a successful DP World Tour season last year. Thomas Dietrich, who won on the PGA Tour last year at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, opted for live. Tom McKibben, Marcus's person he does not like. Adrian Meronk, interesting one. Man hasn't really played very good golf since 2023, and then went to live after missing out on the Ryder Cup. Victor Perez, who also left the PGA Tour after being a long-term DP World Tour player. David Puig, who plays a lot as well, and Elvis Smiley, the Australian, who won on live as well. So John Rahm, I don't know, man. The man is becoming quietly unlikable to me. Like I'm like I want to get where you're coming from, but you don't speak very much to the media to kind of give indications on what you're doing. But she's always kind of pushing the limit. I even want to say the last Ryder Cup. I think they made like a special concession or some, kind of backdoor stuff to get him in. What do you think about this stuff, man?
Well, I mean, the eight guys on the list are doing what they need to do to make sure that they're securing a place to play and at least doing the work to try to stay in a decent rhythm until their next live event or whatever. Um, I I don't know, man. I feel like David Puig was going to be able to play anywhere. Victor Perez, however, yeah, I mean, good luck. I mean, he didn't really produce like we thought he would. I mean, he was a really good DP World Tour player. Didn't really translate to the PGA Tour. Now,
Right.
don't get me wrong. The world is different out here on the west side of the world. So maybe it was an adjustment period. Maybe he wasn't ready for that.
Huge.
Very huge. Pause. But yeah, I don't know. Adrian Meronk, I want to see him play good golf again. Very,
I do.
again, homemade, unique swing that
Tall
really
guy.
was just, yeah, 6'5", just really moving the ball easily. Um, you know, Dietrich, he's on his own. Why he chose to do that, I don't know. Um,
Yeah, I hope the check made sense for him. I hope it did.
right. Yeah, maybe Laurie Cantor didn't want to leave live, but couldn't really produce to stay. Then Greg Norman left, and he was like, you know what? Let's give Scott O'Neill a chance. Let's go back. Who knows?
And I think
Who
he spoke
knows?
to he spoke directly to the culture difference, and that he
Yeah,
did not want to make that change for his family's sake.
his
So I think
family,
Yeah,
valid.
Laurie Cantor's been the most transparent. I even saw an article
Yeah.
sometime this week where he said, "I knew I was going to get hate for my decision, and I'm okay with that." So I respect Laurie Cantor. I respect him.
Oh yeah,
He seems like he has a level head about it.
right. And I also don't think he has enough fanfare to really make for people to make a big deal about it, whether he went there or not. That's more
Fair,
importantly. But and
fair.
no disrespect to Laurie Cantor, but again, like you just said, he knows his lane. So regardless, he was going to be okay. Now, first things first, John Rahm, how you got this image of him, you did favors for him because who knows if it's but 2 weeks out of the year that he's actually in this shape. I mean, more times than not, it's a couple of extra LBs on there, and the camera's not doing him any favors. But
No, Rom is very conditional in his eating, so he's probably heavier right now. Those
yeah,
couple weeks before the
the
Masters, he'll get in
master,
fighting shape.
yeah. Um, but yeah, as it pertains to him not being on the list at this point, it's really on par for my man's because who really knows what's going on in his head? He's not. I don't think anybody will be Wyndham Clark head case level, but
Mm.
John Rahm is an interesting study. It's a lot of I, I I don't even really know if there's a respectful way to say it. He is a person that tries to portray himself as an intellectual, and there's just not a lot of intellectual thoughts going on in between those 2 years. So I just
I
think he
that
outsmarts himself.
I almost thought to disagree with you, but then I think about things that he said prior to leaving for Live and how they essentially became intellectually dishonest. It's like, dude, you said all these things with conviction before and then went to play in the league. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. Now, if he believes in it, he believes in it, and I ain't gonna take that away from him. But it just looks funny in the light once again. But when you got 300 M's guaranteed, you can say a lot of off the wall stuff and get away with it, brother.
Nobody's checking you. So
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what develops from this particular story, and if he comes around. I mean, Pat Reed had already settled his up at the beginning of the year, so
yeah.
this was kind of null and void for him. Um, but we'll
It's
see, man.
almost
I
as
mean,
if
he's
he
got a lot
knew.
of time. Yeah, he's got a lot of time to resolve this issue. But I say that, but then again, you don't want to lose ground because let's say he does not perform well in the majors this year, which you're going to get, increased official world golf ranking points for those. If he doesn't perform well in the majors, I mean, his status as an automatic, selection could be in question, which, that puts kind of the onus on,
Well, how
if it's
long?
like, okay, we have to make a captain's pick for you and make an exception.
Yeah, how long? So, lifetime to the Masters now. Is it 10 years for the U.S. Open?
I think they get 5, if I remember correctly, from like the
I know it's
when
five for
Live
the
stuff started.
PGA. I know it's five for the PGA, and I'm pretty sure it's five for the Open. But I thought the
Yeah,
U.S. Open got 10 because they try to hold it in a little bit higher regards. But I mean, once those exemptions run out, Playboy, what we got going on? You think you getting that?
right.
Like, are your official world golf ranking points from the Live gonna hold that much weight? I don't think so. Like, I don't think you're gonna play enough. Thank you, DJ. I don't think. I mean, it's really just I don't know how much longer that's gonna last. Like you being able to
Appreciate it.
just get exemptions from the 4 majors and then going off of that. Like I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough for him because again, his playing schedule he's not been one of these guys that has stuck his neck out to play the DP World Tour at
Or the
all,
Asian
right?
tour,
So
anything.
right, anything. So he's playing the live schedule, which I was curious about. Pull this down and see if I can pull the live schedule up here.
Do you think
But
it's
I mean,
conditional
they're
for him? Do you think that's or not conditional, contractual? Do you think that's a part of his deal for him since he got paid a lot more than the rest of these guys? Like, hey, we need you to be playing like, and I think he had just spoke enough on his desire to play in Spain, like the Spanish Open and the majors, and then the 13 or
that's
14
really
events
it.
that Live have. I mean, you as much as of a hater as I am, you play the 4 majors, you play the 14 events on Live, and then you play the Spanish Open. That's 19 events. You can't even hate on
Yeah,
that because Tiger tried to stay around 19 to 22 events, even in his prime. He pushed it to maybe like 26, but he wasn't going ham. He wasn't Tyrrell. He not playing 30 to 35 events and stuff like that. So, okay, maybe there's a method to the madness. I still think he's stupid, but
I don't know. I don't know. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, this is
yeah.
it. So their schedule, I mean, going into the summer, it starts dying down pretty damn quickly here. So, we have the Hong Kong that's coming in March,
2 weeks.
Singapore. Yeah, they're going to go 3 weeks
Really?
in a row, which is kind of strange for them. They're going to go Hong Kong, Singapore, South Africa straight through, and then have a month's break with the Masters in between there. Um, and then by the time they get through Mexico City, they're halfway through their season already. Um,
Are
you
they
know,
not
with
on a? Are they not on like a 3 week break right now? They played Riyadh, then they played
yes,
Australia, then they played Adelaide in Australia. When was
hmm
Australia? How long ago was that?
that was last week. It was last week. We were talking about Anthony Kim, so it was just last week. They got
Jesus,
this week. So
bro.
two is that a two week break?
4. Well, we got this week. End of this week will be the 1st. End of next week will be the 8th, and then they when is this, the 11th
So yeah, 3 weeks total. Yeah,
or the 5th? Oh yeah, so
I don't know, but the schedule is
yeah.
so irregular. I mean, I know they're working around the majors as well, but um, yeah, man, it gives very much like XFL. It's
Where's
just
the players?
in a couple of weeks, and I actually wrote down the PGA Tour schedule. We have a couple of Florida swing tournaments, and then the players is
The 12th.
yeah,
It's the 12th. When is? Don't the Live have an event that week?
they do. They have a competing event, which I thought was kind of trash, but um, their ratings are going to be in the toilet that week. That's kind of a silly move, but hey, man, do your thing.
Foolie Wang.
All right, next one. This one's light. I mean, I'm not gonna. We're gonna spend too much time here. Just quick. Of course, when Tiger's hosting an event, Riviera is, the one outside of the hero that Tiger is the face of. So of course he
Mm-hmm.
got asked early on in the week about Anthony Kim, as they were both Nike athletes. Essentially Tiger was his mentor at that time, or at least that's how people are attaching them together. And Tiger just talked about the dark times and the struggles, and just could sympathize with AK, even though we haven't seen. I guess we have. I guess we can say that Tiger struggled with prescription drugs. I think that was one of his arrests, driving while under the influence, or at least suspected of driving while under the influence. Anthony Kim has talked openly about his struggles. I even saw a post this week about him being on his Instagram, about being 3 years sober this year. And so I think there's a lot of similarities. Clearly, the results of their careers have gone vastly different. But from a personal standpoint, injuries on the golf course, struggles with, substances off the golf course. We did see AK going missing for 12 years, but definitely some compassion there from Tiger. What do you think about their connection, and anything you want to add here?
I don't know. I mean, my perspective of it is, I felt like it was more of big bro, little bro,
Mm-hmm.
and it might have even been more like cousins, because like I feel like Tiger was like, he took him under his wing, he helped him out, and they were always cordial and stuff like that. But I mean, peak Tiger was still 2010. We were still talking about him eclipsing Jack. So like, was
Yeah.
he being friendly and was he being cool? Yeah, but was he really giving him insights and a
No.
blueprint to take over for what he was trying to take over? No. I mean, it's Tiger at the end of the
Right.
day. How friendly was
Right. But the
Tiger in 2010? Not very.
peak Tiger was not No, this new revised version of Tiger is very different than what we saw at that time. He's
Listen,
much more
people don't even
giving.
remember that shit. They don't even remember how Tiger was so stone cold. And that was, we came into the game kind of like at the end of it when the injuries started accumulating. But even then, he was still a stone cold assassin on the course. Anytime he was in contention, we saw what it was. 2012, the Memorial, when he chased them boys down, he had the chip in, he had the birdie putt on 18 to really seal the deal. I mean, like, let's be for real. Tiger wasn't exactly, hey, look, listen, when I get into these situations, this is how I play. This is how I approach the game. What would that look like? You just giving away the game? You giving away the secrets? But do I
Right.
think they was homies? Yeah, off the course. Yeah, they had some
Yeah.
fun, but on the course, it ain't. It's only
It's
so.
just we're going head up.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep them at at an arm's distance, but I'm not about to give up. I'm not about to give up the goods. So yes, I think they were friends, but do I think he was just going, out of his way and extending a hand to AK? No,
No.
not in the least.
Um, let's keep it moving on to the next slide. So yeah, anyway, as we said last week, if you weren't here, much, future success to AK. Hopefully he's able to keep his run going as well. Looked great. Look, found the
Yeah.
game. So hopefully it's not just for 1 week at a time. Your boy,
Oh
your
joy.
guy, Lucas Glover elected to the PGA Tour Player Advisory Committee. The implications of this are that this election will take him into kind of this board of governors role after this term expires. So this was pretty consequential. Apparently, he's been elected to this board 10 times and before and declined it. Now he is finally taking it. So the interesting, and also, again, click on the article, read it. It was an interesting read to hear how aloof and how comfortable he has been making very bold statements about situations and not reading up on them fully.
Thank
Like they alluded to him getting a. I mean, these players get a lot of information in the background, bulletins. Just like if you any workplace that corporate place that you've worked, you get like, oh, this is the FAQ on this,
you. Yeah.
and he has spoken out defiantly about many topics without knowing the full background. And so it's interesting that the players would put him in that role as an elder statesman and have this have the ability to influence things while him not fully preparing. And so he's like, I'm gonna have to get read up on a lot of things. And I was like, this is weird. It left me uneasy. But I definitely had to throw it in there because I know you have some disdain for Lucas Glover as of late. What are your thoughts, bro?
I mean, it just goes to what we've spoken on pretty much for the last 2 seasons. At least me, I said the exact same thing. I'm like, he got a lot of shit to say, but ain't really doing nothing about it. I've said that before. The last time we rehashed Lucas Glover, his situation, we talked about that. And I said almost like verbatim, I said the exact same thing. I said, my boy is not all that in the know for him to be speaking like this. But again, he fancies himself as, a top tier player still. Even though we already know he slid. I think Lucas Glover's saving grace is really his aura around ball striking and iron play and playing with no glove. If you've been around the game long enough, you know how difficult it is to play golf with or without a glove, and for him to be doing it at this an elite level, He made a nice little run a couple of years ago, won in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I think this is, I don't mean to diminish what he's got going on, but I feel like this is just a ploy for him to stay like in elevated events and get like a couple more sponsors exemptions
This
and
is
a
the
little bit
Webb
more.
Simpson play.
Yeah, this is a little bit more equity in the tour as he rides off into the sunset because he's upper 40s. Now he's a little bit younger than Tiger, but he's on his
Yeah.
way out. We're a long ways away from that '06 US Open, buddy. That's all I'm saying. Now, if he does the work to get read up and gets updated, kudos. Maybe I'll get off his back a little bit. But until then, he's a
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah, because I don't hate that he's comfortable speaking up. It's just you want somebody to be informed. I think we live in a
Right.
day and age where it's okay to like speak about things without having any knowledge of it, which I think is just
Actual
it's
facts.
horrible.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, sir. Read your bulletins, get the info on what everybody's doing before you speak out with conviction. So I'm gonna skip this one slide and come back to it. I want to finish up with it.
Always.
Absolutely, bro.
Always.
There's we hadn't talked angrily about Webb Simpson.
In a long
Um, Kuchar has been off the radar for a little bit. So
They're never, hey, DJ, they're never far away. Listen, me and Rod have long been talking shit about Webb Simpson and that swing. I wouldn't wish
I'm
that
surprised. I'm
on any.
surprised. Webb Simpson's back has made it this far, and
True.
that's something I'm surprised about. So we talked earlier. I think me and Marcus and I were both surprised about both of these guys, Aldrich Potgieter and Marco Pinge, moving from their respective equipment folks to PXG in the off season. Really, beginning of this season is when we got the announcement. But they hadn't. Even neither one of them has played very well in the events leading up to this week. But both of them finally. I mean, Pinge fell back a little bit further than he performed up to this point, but ended up T16 and a solo fifth for Potgieter, which is by far the best finish for both of these guys up to this point. I'm happy to see them. They both looked comfortable with the clubs, and I will speak to the irons that both of them are playing. Um, I've talked about in my set of clubs, I had a wedge that was outside of my set, a pitching wedge, and it was the same wedge from the set that they're playing, which is more of a bladed player's wedge, and it performed really well. It's a really good performing club. Simple weighting system, looks good. It's forged, great irons. But the question has always been about PXG's woods, which I would hope at some point we're going to go over one or both of theirs, what's in the bags, to really talk about in depth what they're playing from PXG, what they held over from other manufacturers. So it was just good to see both of them finally performing after making such a big move. What are your thoughts on these this week's performance from both of these guys?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know if Marco Pinch, I don't know. I didn't think he held that much weight as far as coming over from the DP World Tour and just automatically being in the elevated events. I didn't know that that's how that was going to work. I thought he would come in and have status on the PGA Tour. I didn't know he was getting into the elevated
Like he would
events.
jump the line.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, but I guess you top 10 on the DP World Tour, I guess it's got to be incentivized. And
I mean, he won 3 starts last year.
yeah, he did win 3 times. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought that was cool. I kind of give him some slack because he came over sick. He was supposed to start the season in Hawaii. He was supposed to be at the Sony to start his season. And then he was going to go and play the American Express right after that. So him being sick/hurt and not really, coming into play until the Farmers Insurance or whatever, where they were playing at Torrey Pines, where I think he missed the cut that first week.
Correct.
So I'm giving him some grace. But Pot Geeter, I mean, bro is 20 or 21 or something like that. He should have already been in mid-season form. So I don't know. I don't really think he should have had that much slack given, but kudos to them. I mean,
you don't give any slack for the equipment change. It's like I'm making a completely different change in your bag. No slack.
He's 21. He has ample. He ain't got no huzz. He don't have no life. He got plenty of time to beat balls and get in a rhythm. He not Max Homa. Max Homa got 2 kids, a wife. He got a lot of different things. You give him some assimilation. He was going through a swing change, different swing coach. It's gonna take some time. Only thing Pot Geeter changed was his irons.
Marcus is an asshole. That's just.
I'm not. I'm honest.
And
that's why, when somebody tried to call me out on my what's in the bag, I had to be honest with him. It's my OCD. Bro tried to tell me my woods was in the wrong spot. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Makes sense to me.
I'm gonna have to go back and see that. That's funny.
I almost sent it to you.
Right.
I almost sent it to you. Real talk.
Had you running hot for a little bit?
I wasn't hot. I laughed it off, really, because like I said, it makes sense to me. If you want to doubt me and how I have my bag set up, that's fine. But all the slots fit in smoothly, sir.
Lord. All right, and this is the last one, and I left this one last because I want to ask more from a personal standpoint. So we saw Viktor Hovland on the range with the pool floaties, and there's a gesture he's trying to make to, it seems like his coach or someone that's watching him swing. He's trying to create this separation in his arms and on the downswing, and very animated, and he's not been playing very well with the driver's been the worst thing of his part of his game, and the irons have been respectable enough to keep him in tournaments. But it just made me think about training aids and how far are we willing to go to achieve a feel. I don't have a crazy story. I just have this old, it's like this Callaway band where every once in a while my arms just elbows get too separated where the arms just start flying. So I'll pull that out of the bag every once in a while, get some practice swings in before a round or the days leading up to a round, and just to get the feel back and that connected feeling. That's about as extreme as I've ever gone with a training aid. I'm not huge on these kind of things. I rather just go play again, that one little thing where I know I have a problem with it. What's kind of the craziest training aid that you've done, or just thing that you've done to get a feel back?
I wouldn't say I've done anything crazy. I feel like the only thing that, I guess, recency bias. I feel like I did get, I wouldn't even say I got, but I bought one of those little alignment rods that you put on the iron face to check where your face is pointed.
Where it's pointing with the magnet.
Yeah, so I got one of those off the TikTok shop. That's probably the only real gullible action I've done. But as far as getting feels, I just consume YouTube a lot. I'll go back to my basis of the few coaches that I try to keep that have the same, as we've discussed multiple times again, the same verbiage I like, the same feels that I've understood before in my game. So yeah, I typically go back to Sean Foley videos with feel and takeaway videos and stuff like that. But as far as training aids, no, I don't. I'm not too crazy on that. I have the Tour Aim, so I got the train tracks plus the one alignment line, but that's all
On the
well
putting green.
within. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can use it on the putting green, but more for like full
Ah,
swing.
okay.
I do have the
Okay.
putting mirror. I have the putting mirror, and I felt like the putting mirror it's pretty straightforward. I don't think I do anything crazy as far as training aids go to reel it
Okay.
back in.
All right. Well, that's it for the golf. Pretty packed out week. It'll be another one. Are the ladies back again? Yes, we said
A's just came
Singapore.
back.
PGA Tour is also back at it, of
Florida,
course, on the Florida
Florida
swing.
swing.
So, which for me, like I said last week, that'll be cool because I was up. I slept an hour last night because I wanted to catch the full final round um of the tourney. So it was. I
We
think the last
appreciate your
group teed off
dedication.
at 2:30. Yeah, they teed off at 2:30 my time. So I watched all the way to the last swing. So um, I'm looking forward to the Florida swing and some earlier starts. Not that I would have necessarily been in bed, but yeah, no.
Yeah,
DP World Tour in South Africa. So we got another. I think are the old men back at it? I know they were
it's
taking a
yeah
break too.
this yeah this might be that week that they're back. Let's see.
I'm pulling it.
No, we have another week before they're back.
One more week.
James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational.
Oh, I won't even watch that. I hate those. Oh, no, 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 thank you.
Another pro am? No, I'm good.
Um, oh, one random thing I also mentioned. So Tiger, of course, asked, would it be crazy to see him in the Masters this year? And he simply responded, no. So we'll see. We'll start seeing full swing videos a couple weeks before the Masters if he's getting close. But yeah, man.
Hey,
That's always to be expected.
who's gonna leak the videos of him practicing at his house this year? Who's gonna be the one? Is it gonna be Charlie? Somebody's got to leak the footage. They're gonna show
It's
him.
always some rando.
Yeah, they're gonna show him in some Sunday red athletic gear, a hoodie that's sweated through, and one leg sleeve over his right leg, so they don't show that mangled bionic leg. And then he's like, "Yep, Tiger's hitting wedges again." And then next thing you know, he gonna be ramping it up on his course, and uh, they're saying Tiger made an appearance at the member guest at the Seminole. It was 2 weeks before the Masters. All right, bro.
Or people at his club. You're getting anonymous accounts. I'm
They're
seeing
seeing him
Tiger
at Lake
playing
Nona.
36. He's playing
Right.
36 today.
We gonna see it. Yeah.
um,
Maybe JT. Maybe JT is the leaker. They play it. They play a lot together. That's the homie.
this
That's
is
the
true.
new little
This
bro.
is true.
That's the new little bro.
He took
And
over for AK.
yeah, and JT's really getting the good side of it because he's getting friendly Tiger. Commended him on being a father and the birth of their kid and stuff like that, bro. Like he is fully in big bro mentor role with JT. So he's getting.
Yeah.
Hey, and also
He saw.
just one more little thing. He don't want to be outdone by Bernhard Langer. So Tiger gonna come back off that Achilles. He gonna play again. Bernhard did it in 6 months. I'm gonna do it.
This
Mm-hmm.
is true. He did come back fast. Jesus Christ. But he does get the cart though. So that's the one difference.
He
Tiger's got to
walked.
hoof it.
No, 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 no.
No,
Bernhard Langer
Longer's
walked.
walking.
He walks it. Mm-hmm.
No
I
shit.
think he. I think
Um,
he started it for PNC, but he walks on the Champions Tour.
yeah. Outside of golf, we get confirmation Kyrie is not coming back this year, sitting the rest of the year out. I guess the Mavs just aren't competitive enough to make it make sense to come back
They
this
strong
year.
armed
So
him,
what do you
bro.
think?
They strong armed him. You know we
To
need
not
this
play?
pick. Yeah, you know we need this pick.
Oh,
This is a
while
stacked
there's no
draft class.
rules.
Yeah, exactly. There's a stacked draft class, and you're just taking your time rehabilitating that injury. So why rush it back? Cooper Flag's gonna be here, and then they just beat the Pacers today. So are they really taking? They're not doing it like Sacramento. Sacramento, Sabonis and Zach LaVine, two career
Yeah, they
losers,
shut them
both
down.
have season-ending surgeries, just to get them back and go 39-43 next year with them fully healthy. So, congrats to the Kings, bro.
Yeah.
If they're on the roster by the
Um,
end of the trade deadline,
Speaking of the draft class, have you been keeping up with this Darren Peterson of Kansas story and pulling himself out of a game this week versus OKC?
they don't play like we played, bro. I don't even take it. I don't take any offense to it because that's how it goes nowadays. And if Bill Self was if he had any kind of kahunas, he wouldn't pull him out. But the man's knows what are you gonna do if he wants to do that?
What's he gonna do, right?
Exactly. Hold your own and hold him out of the game. Then he's suspended, contract detrimental to the team.
He's
You can't do
already
that
missed.
no more though.
He's already missed almost half their games. I think he's played just over half the games with cramps and minor strains.
Hamstring.
Do you
Yeah,
should it affect his draft status? Because he's projected number one prior to this, but people
I
you're gonna the loudest voice was Stephen Ass Smith, but other people that are credible have said that this is really questionable. What do you think about that aspect of it?
I don't think it's questionable. I mean, listen, Kyrie played 13 games and got drafted number one. He was clear and by far the best player in the draft. Do I think he slides anywhere out of the top five? No. Do I think he goes one or two? Yes. It's him or AJ DeBonsa. I don't. There is no stock in Boozer. Boozer is not doing that on the NBA level. He has not shown any versatility. He has not shown any kind of pro level scoring. We've seen that with DeBonsa. We've seen that with Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson move at his own pace, and then he'll get up
Right.
there and yam on you.
The
And then
the game
DeBonsa's a
his
freak.
game reminds me very much of Gilbert Arenas.
Really,
Yeah, just the height that he gets on the jumper is like structurally you're not gonna see a more like just the fundamentals and then the
hmm.
height that he gets on the jumper. Go watch some clips of Darren Peterson. You'll see some flashes of Arenas in there, and it seems
I
like
don't know if
mentally he's got some Arenas in him.
I'm not seeing Agent Zero. I don't. But that's another thing too, though. I try not to compare a lot of these players. I don't see. I don't like. You know who he looks like, right? And they be alluding to Kobe, and I'm like, y'all really be throwing out greats with these college players, and I'm like, I ain't seeing that at all.
Whatever. I like I said, the way he moves and just
No,
gets
no, no.
shots.
I'll look
Yeah,
again. I mean, he comes across the feed. Um,
yeah.
Kingston Flemings really made a surge. Do I think he goes? I
Hell
don't
no,
know.
not top five.
No, they saying he top five after the 40 ball and
I
then
don't
going
believe
back to
that
back
shit.
with the 35. I think he has a chance. Remember, the NFL is what have you done? The NBA is what can you do? It's about your
I get it.
ceiling and your
It's true.
potential. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Again, remember
Um,
the amount of people that have gotten traded for 5 draft picks that haven't panned out? It's because he
I
possibly
know.
could.
I was a story came across my feed yesterday about Steve Francis, and through the Players Tribune, which is I like. I every once in a while I'll catch a story from them, and the way they're written or at least told by the player, it definitely is
Real
outside of the
heartfelt.
box in terms of writing. Hmm.
It's real heartfelt. The Players Tribune. It's a lot of. It's like a lot of
Yeah. No.
player led articles.
100%, and you can tell, and so it got me engaged to read the entire thing, and it wasn't short, but it was talking about how few games he played two high school games while going to six different high schools, played a little bit of AAU, um, was selling drugs, and his choices were go play, junior college basketball down to San Jack, or continue selling drugs and probably end up in jail or dead. And
Yeah,
so he went from 18 selling drugs to 22 years old, playing a little bit of junior college, one season at Maryland, and getting drafted. He's like completely improbable. He's like,
yeah,
I literally played two high school games. So he wasn't even on the radar. So you're right. Potential and what somebody could do um, beats what they've actually done. So yeah, I agree with that sentiment. And that it's funny. I read that article last night as we were talking about this. So
yeah. Now I think Samson
um,
brings them back.
you think who?
Samson asked him to come back.
You think so?
Hmm.
He's never been one to like. I think he could talk him into it, right? To say
Yeah,
we can improve your long term potential if you stay another year.
I
Which
think so. I think the only one that really suffered from coming back a year from the University of Houston program is Milos Uzan. He's the only one because now
yeah,
he's really searching for his identity again. He was on the ball 24/7 last year. It was his show. And then, Sharp was a traditional spot up 3 and D'er. There was no him handling the ball. We didn't have a Sanak on the wing, none of that stuff. Kingston Flemings can get his own shot. He can produce. Uzan doesn't need the ball in his hand. Sharp can produce, and he's still a spot up. Uzan doesn't need the ball in his hands. So he's really just kind of out of place in this current system. And that's very unfortunate, but he still shows glimpses. Um,
yeah,
but I mean, I don't know what he was going to do last year either, though. So because Marcus Sasser came back one
yeah.
extra year, Jamal Shed came back one extra
You know
year.
who? You know who could have benefited from coming back, but I think he's just too physically talented. Was Jarris Walker, forward from a few seasons
Agreed.
ago?
And even then, he
Could
still
could
went
have benefited.
lottery. He still went
Yeah,
lottery, and he figuring it out for the Pacers now. They ain't traded him yet. They see that same
yeah,
potential.
but he's average. I mean, physically, you look at him and you're like, this dude should be killing it, but he's only averaging like 10, 10, 4, and 2. So I don't know,
Hey,
man. He
better
he
than a
could have
lot of
definitely
players.
benefited from. Yeah, you just see that wingspan and then that 6'7" frame, and you're like, the kid can kill it. So anyway,
Yeah.
all right, y'all. That's it. Bearded Bros Golf Show. Missing one member. Hopefully, Mike will be back next week. I am Rod.
Marcus.
We'll see y'all then.